Another day, and another trip on Divi to go and look at some other bikes. Well, not say look at other bikes, but speak to them about if they can get their hands on anything. Ironically again, while I'm riding Divi to get there. So after yesterday's video riding the ZX9R, a lot of people have been saying, you know, you should have bought that, and it's like, no, it wasn't right, and that's the point. I've got to buy something that's right for me to do what I needed to do, and not because adolescent feelings say it's fast, it's fun, get it. It's not right. So yeah, of course, loads of people have said, come on, you've said you want a bike like Divi with an engine like Divi's, there's, you know, all these things that are like Divi but not Divi. And I'll explain to you why I'm hesitant on buying this bike, and why at the same time it would be a very good idea to buy this bike. I'm hesitant because it just isn't that exciting. It's a quick bike, no doubt about that. And it's comfortable and it actually covers all the bases, but this bike would cost me £2,000. And I didn't want to spend more than 1,500. You see, and for the channel, something a bit more exciting would gain more people to come in, you know. But the reasons why it would be a good idea to buy it is because I can get it for 2k. It's quite a bit less than it's actually worth. It's been looked after well by Hazelmere. Yeah, it's sat outside for a while, so it's got a few cosmetic things. It can do with a really good clean. It is white, that's an issue. There's another issue is why I don't want it, because it's freaking white. But then again, I do like the white. It is cool, but it's just not when you have to clean it. I mean, if you saw the front end of this thing right now, you'd be like, oh my god. As I understand it, the engine in this is the R6 engine. Where the R6 developed 130 to 40 brake horsepower, this only develops about 70, 80. So it's really, really under-tuned for what that block can handle, which is good for longevity. It means it's built tough and it will just do the miles. It's got 37,000 miles on the clock. It will probably do another 37,000 miles without blinking its eye. Another benefit to this bike currently is, like the ZX9 I was looking at, it needs a new rear tyre. And it wasn't as cosmetically clean as it may have looked on video. This has got new tyres, this has got new chain, you know, it's currently in a very good position. So yes, it would be much more sensible for me to buy this bike, but it's that one nagging feeling of, well, it's a bit more than I was planning to spend, but it is definitely worth it for the sort of the lack of hassle in the future, and that's very important. Even if I go and spend 2k on another bike that's more exciting, it's how good of a condition it's in for that price. Because, you know, when you're buying for the lower models, when you're looking, you tend to get the ones that have problems. If you spend a bit more, you tend to get the ones that don't. I try to use that theory on my DRZ, and it worked out until we had problems. I don't actually mind the looks of this bike. It's not exciting looking, but it's not ugly. I don't think. I quite like the back end of it, you know, it needs a tail tidy badly. But one of the other issues is the fact that it really needs an exhaust, because I like a good sounding exhaust, and this sounds like a space bike. It's so quiet. And with an exhaust on them, they sound great. However, because it's an underslung exhaust that comes out the side, it means that you have to get the link pipe and stuff, and it looks like that will be relatively expensive. So, you know, you've got the 2k, and now you're like tail tidy, exhaust. Now we're going way above what I wanted to spend. Now remember that I had £2,600 basically donated to me, and I've got to fix the bike and ideally buy a bike with that. So, I mean, yeah, it's true, I could just leave the exhaust in that for now and just, you know, recoup things a bit and then look at doing it, or even speak to some companies and try and get some bits, because I always have that advantage. You see, that's another thing. By having this sort of bike, there's more companies I can work with. I've been contacted by many companies in the past, like people saying, hey, we want to make you some fairings, we want to do this. And I'm like, I don't ride a sports bike. And they're like, that's a problem. I'm like, yeah, it is. If you want to make some fairings with my DRZ, I'd love you to. Nice white ones, please. And they're like, yeah, we can't do that. I hope you heard all that. I know it's windy, I probably shouldn't have done it then, but I'm going to be doing the majority of the time on the motorway. But I do realise the irony of, someone's chain, of me riding this bike to other places happily and, you know, uneventfully to look at other bikes and then moaning I can't find one. I do realise the irony, and I know it almost seems destined that I would end up owning this bike because of the amount of time it's been in the channel, the way that it kind of got a love-hate relationship with it. I don't hate this bike, but I didn't love it to start with, and I have to admit, like someone said, it's like that underdog you think. But I am one about underdogs, and I do like the underdog, and I tend to love the underdog, and as people have said, it's kind of like the unwanted sister or something. It needs some love. It's never going to get the love that I give my bikes from someone else necessarily. It's going to just continue its life being the workhorse of Hazelmere and abused until the day that it dies. God, I've made it sound worse now. Now you're going to want me to buy Divi. So yes, it is definitely an option. It almost feels like it's the fallback option. It's not the cheapest option, but it may be the most sensible long-term wise, because, you know, knowing the history of the bike and stuff. And my logic side of my brain is saying to me, look, just buy Divi. And then my sort of heart says to me, you might be able to get something a bit more exciting. At least give it a chance. And that's what I'm doing. I'm looking around, I'm speaking to people. From reading the comments, it has been somewhat frustrating. I mean, I know no one reads the comments, so, you know, the same comments posted again and again, and the way people are like, oh, have you considered an SV? No, I've considered the cheap budget market of bikes above 600, well, 600 and above in the UK, and I've not considered the SV. Of course I've considered it. I've considered everything. Oh, I've probably seen most of the bikes for sale in the UK right now, because I've been doing massive amounts of research, gauging prices and seeing what condition levels versus prices and location. It seems if you're up north, no, not up north, but in the Midlands, sports bikes are cheaper because there's just more of them. I know that eBay and, you know, the world, England is not that big, so it doesn't make much difference, but when there are bikes locally and they sell locally, it seems like certain areas you're in better chances of getting that cheap bargain. So, the Honda CBR 600F or the F4i. Yep, I agree with you. Looks like a good one. There's not many around here. Really isn't. I've not even seen many good ones that I'd be willing to look at in the price budget I have. I forget, as I say, with the frustrating comments and stuff, that I actually do know quite a bit about bikes. I'm not an expert by any means, but, you know, I have a good knowledge. I have a good memory of stuff. But also I have a lot more connections than you probably think I do. I don't go screaming and shouting to people about the connections that I have, but trust me, I mean, for an example, I've spoken to someone inside of Suzuki UK, like the main Suzuki UK, about like express bikes and stuff. And I know recently, I don't know if we got in a video, I said I would never own an express bike, but there may be an idea, but unfortunately, budget won't allow. I have made the suggestion to them that, like, you know, well, you know, you lose £2 maybe selling it to me cheap, and then it gets exposed into millions of views on YouTube, and you end up selling, what, 2 extra bikes because of it? You've just made your money back. And there's going to be a lot more than that, but the big companies just don't see it that way. And I understand it's small scale, so they don't see the mass market appeal. Anyway, I'm a freestyle because I need to speak to them. See how easy I just got here? That would normally be quite a trek on there, because it's like, bah! Tell you what, there's some Euro 4 pre-reg bargains around at the moment. If you're after a brand new bike, and you don't mind if it's not one of the Euro 4s, go into your local dealers at the moment, because basically what happened was when the Euro 4 rule came in, you have to have sold all of your 2016 bikes, or your before Euro 4. Hold on a sec, come off here. And any that were left over had to be pre-registered, and they're now selling those off cheaply. There's an MT-03 in there that's dirt cheap, but it is outside my budget, and an MT-03 is not what I'm after. I just had a message from Phil Tonic saying, I'm glad to see that Derek's going to stay, but for Christ's sake, don't buy Divi. Phil, I know you have the same thoughts as me on these things, but we have to be logical and realistic here. It might be the best option. I want a budget, okay? Right, back on the A27, I've got to pop to J&S, so this is going to be a load more wind noise and not very interesting for you, so I'm actually going to turn the camera off and put some tunes on and get down there. Oh, Divi. You know, another good thing about Divi, actually, brakes. Really good brakes. Well, not the best, but they're good. They feel, they're very positive, and the back brake works well, and it stops nicely. That Kawasaki I rode yesterday, oh my god! No, scared the shit out of me, the brakes on that. Though they probably just need bedding in a bit better, or sorry, cleaning up, because, you know, it hasn't been ridden for a while or something, I don't know, but it had a lever the thickness of a bamboo cane, and you were like, and nothing seemed to happen. it reminded me of my DRZ ones. Actually, no, mine even seemed better than that. I'm sure with a little bit of TLC on them, they'll be good. But it's another little thing in Divi's argument. It's like she's willing me to love her. She's like, please, I live outside in a shed. Take me in the warm. Give me the love I deserve. It's a definite possibility getting this bike, but I don't know. I want to look around. And of course, everyone now thinks I'm definitely going to buy Divi, and I swear it is definitely not a certainty. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, does it? But I've been sent tons of personal messages about this as well, and I must apologise. If you've sent me a Facebook personal message, I'll explain to you why I'm really bad at replying to Facebook personal messages recently. Number one, because of my work, because unlike other social media apps that allow you to jump between accounts, Facebook I have to sign in and sign out. So when I'm doing my day job stuff, I just leave it in that account so I don't see stuff on my own Facebook. With Instagram and Twitter, I can flip between accounts in one press of a button, but no. And I'm a beta tester for the app, and I have said to them, for Christ's sake, like every other app that's out there, make it possible to jump between accounts. They don't listen to the little people. So this is the problem. I might get 10 personal messages a day or something like that, and if I reply to all of them before I get through the first 3, I'll have replies from the original 10, and that then it basically means that I can actually sit there for an hour replying to messages and then stop and look at it and be like, I actually have more messages to reply to now than when I started. Very often it would be far better for that question to have been asked as a comment. Very rarely is it something which, you know, requires my personal input, unless it's something personal, in which case I understand. But also they tend to be like 3 pages long, and it's like, and I really appreciate that people want to ask my opinion, and I try whenever I do reply to give you the best thought out opinion that I can, you know. But equally ironically, when I said recently on Facebook, apologies, I've been a bit crap with personal messages, I'm behind on them, I got loads more on that day. But you were pleased to know the reason why I'm busy is because I'm making videos. I mean, have you seen how many videos I've got out recently? I'm finding myself in a good groove, you know, of not a video a day, but a video every other day. There's lots of stuff going on, so, you know, I can keep doing videos. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. That would have to go. I think that could be made a lot smaller, though I think there's like a halo missing that made that look less ridiculous, but that could be smaller. And yeah, this underslung exhaust causes big problems. I think it's more going to be the problem again, because whenever you convert them, they seem to put it up and out through here or under here. And the problem with that is you need the link pipe, or maybe the exhaust come with the link pipe, I don't know. So there you go, I'm nearly done for the day. Derek is still in the shop. Nothing's changed, basically. I rang him up this morning. Just waiting on some things we've got to do. But it's not, you know, there is no rush because they've lent me this thing. That is the situation with Divi, the realistic one. Yep, it's not the best bike in the world, but it may actually end up being the best thing for what I need, but who knows, who knows. Yeah, it's... Oh, look at you people, you can't even merge! Christ's sake.